And welcome back to Market Wolf, where I give you the best bear case, the best bull case, and I give you my opinion. It is 8:25 p.m. Sunday, April 21st. We have just had market close for the day. We are looking at Bitcoin on a 12-hour time frame. And as you can see, I think the best bull case for Bitcoin is that we are putting in some type of a W reversal here. I wouldn't be surprised if we could break up a little bit higher and then break down some and then break back up. This kind of chop is hard to call. The best bull case is that we just have kind of like a little reverse head and shoulders pattern here. If it looks like that on the lower time frames, if you get down to the 6 hour, especially the 4 hour. So this could just take off, and we could, the best bull case, automatically just kind of come back up here and back test $71,341.64 at its highest. You could get rejected a little lower, maybe at $67,919.04. But I do believe we probably have the possibility of breaking up here to some degree in the short term. The question is, does that change the long-term picture on Bitcoin if we take a look at the weekly time frame? Now, you've noticed I've been talking about this on X, that we just are not looking good on the weekly time frame at all. Really, it looks like, a potential breakdown in the making, and we really need these inflows of volume to pick up. And if we can pick that up, then we can definitely change the dynamics that we are seeing play out inside of this bull flag. Now, one other thing of note here, as you can see, the weekly just does not look good in this bull flag. But one other thing of note that's very important here is that the last time our momentum was at this level, coming from a downside swing, let me take you to the MACD here because this is of historic significance. Now, this would be on the 12-hour time frame. This negative 17.046 on the 12-hour time frame, that's actually where we're at right now. You don't see that here because this is the weekly time frame. But the last time we were there was Monday, November 15th of 21, thereabouts. And notice that was right on the edge of a complete breakdown to the downside. Okay, so yeah, you don't see that here because this is the weekly that we're looking at. In any case, that's the short and quick with Bitcoin. Your best bear case is that we break down and actually not only test this flag again, but that we break this whole flag structure and we hit this fib circle here that we've been on. We don't want that. Because if we break this structure, especially if we break $59,044.07, that is not going to be good for anybody, okay? So let's take a look very quickly at TRIAS. Let's take a look at Quant. As you can see, TRIAS has hit all the levels I said that it would. And of course, we're looking at the weekly time frame here, and this is important to continue to look at because it does look like on the weekly there could be potentially more downside for TRIAS. Could this lead to a bounce? Yes, it most definitely could. The main levels I would like to see us reclaim on TRIAS would be $11.08, and then I would definitely like to see us get back into that higher range at about $13.40. Momentum, it seems to possibly be slowing. We'll have to see how we chop in here and see what develops this week. I know a lot of people are talking about Bitcoin and the altcoin 3 chart and how things are shaping up and things look the same as they did before in the past. And look, we have to stay frosty, my friends. We have to have our head on a swivel. We have to be paying attention to our 6 because that's how you get liquidated if you're not paying attention. And remember, I warned you about these moves before. It just looks, it looks like there's more potential momentum to the downside, although we could hit a slowdown. You can see just starting this week, things are looking positive, but understand that we've been following Bitcoin on the lower time frames, and so that's not unexpected. That's exactly, we're basically moving exactly with Bitcoin now. Different pattern formations, but we are essentially moving identically, and you will see the same thing on Quant. That's why I've not really been covering them as much, because right now we're just focused on that big coin. And yeah, you look at these lower time frames. Now, we do not want this to turn into a head and shoulders pattern, because then that's going to bring us back down possibly all the way to our bottom of our descending channel, maybe somewhere around about $8.20. What we want to happen is we want to see we want to see the reversal of this death cross on the 2 hour. If we can get some good volume coming in this evening into the rest of Monday on TRIAS, there is the potential that we could see a golden cross on the 2 hour, and it would be great if we could then confirm that golden cross. Again, that's going to correlate with Bitcoin. And so we're really at a place right now where even if we see some breakdown to the downside, we don't want to see it break the overall uptrend that we are beginning in here, going back essentially to the April the 24th on Friday. So we don't want to violate this uptrend, even though we might have some blow off as that's happening. So far, it seems like maybe we might be able to hold. It's possible we might be trying to reverse. Is it guaranteed? Absolutely not. In my book right now, the higher time frames are, they just technically they always hold more weight, but they're definitely holding more weight for me right now until I see even bigger changes on this chart. The structure of this chart has to look a little better for me before overall, when I'm looking at all indicators, I'm not ready to say, yeah, we're going to have a complete breakout for sure. So I think your best bull case on TRIAS is that you're able to keep this from becoming a head and shoulders pattern. You get that golden cross and you break up and potentially revisit, I would say possibly 1340 if you can get through some of these major resistance levels. That would definitely be an area we could test. We may try and test the top side of this descending channel and actually break out of it. So the top side of this descending channel right here. So that's what I'm looking at on TRIAS for the best bull case. The best bear case, of course, is that it would break down possibly to this bottom of this descending channel, maybe even deeper into our green zone here where I said that we would visit, and we have. And remember, I called that back when this was in a bull flag. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking on TRIAS. Let's take a look at Quant. One thing I will say on TRIAS, and that is it could be putting in a head and shoulders pattern, even if it does have a bit of a breakdown. So Quant has been basically moving with Bitcoin, and it is in its uptrend as well. Bull case on Quant is much the same. I think we might try and test $114, possibly even all the way up to $116.11. That's your best bull case. There's a lot of resistance there, so it'll be an important area to watch. Your best bear case is that we hit this descending support line here and come back down and revisit it, possibly around, let's see, about maybe the $98 level. Somewhere in that range. So that's a possibility if we want to come down and test that again. My opinion, well, it's pretty much the same as Bitcoin. I think that we have some potential upside here, even if we have a little downside first. But then ultimately, what matters at the end of the day is, can we really change the profile on the weekly? Look at the weekly. We basically closed above the ascending channel we had been in, so we broke it clean on the weekly. And not only that, but we have indecision here on this candle. We could test the upside, we could go down. So we're momentum wise in the middle of a downtrend. So my opinion, yeah, much like Bitcoin, I wouldn't be surprised to see us test some higher highs, but then ultimately break down a little bit lower. And sometimes it's interesting, like when you're looking at an altcoin, it can kind of give you a sense of exactly what's going to happen with Bitcoin, even if there's some question about Bitcoin. So this is definitely something we have to pay attention to. This is not a break to take lightly on Quant, because we broke down from basically making a cup and putting in these highs, and this is definitely not a consolidation break like back here. This was a consolidation breakdown to retest the upside and see if we want to keep going. This is looking more like a total breakdown. So like on quant, I wouldn't be surprised in the long term if we actually revisited about that $76, $77 mark, 77, what? Yes, about 77.11. Wouldn't be surprised if we revisited there or even tested this final ascending support that we've been in this big symmetrical triangle. If we retested there at some point, you know, maybe at, oh, who knows, maybe $73, somewhere in there. So yeah, it wouldn't surprise me to see that kind of a further breakdown here on quant. Yeah, so that's just something to watch. It may not go that far. It may, you know, it may actually top out at 84, 85, which that would be ideal, because if we could stop out at 84, 85, that means we're consolidating much tighter and we're hitting this old uptrend right here, this other one that we had been on, and that would bring us some tighter consolidation, and then we could have an explosive move out of here if we can just gather enough steam. So that's something we'll be watching closely on quant. That's your best bear case, that's your best bull case, that's my opinion. We will see you next time on The Market Wolf.